Now, in the studio with me is a guy who is not shy. I'm going to put it that way. His name's MeShorn Daniels. I met him through Descendants of American Slaves. You contacted me after John Schnatter's free fall last week. It's good to see you again, brother.
Hey, brother, as always, man. As always, I brought you a God's Lives Matter hat because, brother, you are a person that...
My life matters, too?
Your life matter, but most important, you've always welcomed me and you're treating me like a brother.
Yes, sir.
And you know that my issues are very serious. Yes, I contacted you because the fact is that I'm a CEO, chairman of my own organization. I have meetings and everything. I might say some things and everything. I don't want everybody to know what I say. Okay, but I want to just stand by him and say that I respect him as the man to own up to what he said. But does he deserve that he be thrown under the bus? And Mayor Fisher, he needs to go. Okay, I'm done with him. Okay, as much as what this man has done for this city, Mayor, just don't even stand by him to understand that it was a conference call among your peers and people. And it sounded like he was in training. It was some type of...
That's what they said it was, a training session.
I thought it was a training session and everything. And, you know, anybody that knows me, MeShorn Daniels, I've said a whole lot of stuff and everything. And if someone would have asked me, did I say it? I'm going to man up and say, yeah, I said it, okay? But do that means I need my whole life destroyed and everything? It's absolutely wrong.
He's a white person. You are an African. Oh, excuse me.
I'm not
supposed to call you that.
You did.
You are a black person.
No.
You are a descendant of American slaves. You don't like any of those things except...
Yes, because it goes into why I don't like it. See, it's interesting that the European, specifically the liberals, have no problem with those Negroes, blacks, and African Americans who calls themselves the N-word because it's a pet name that the KKK, the liberal system, gave to the masters, gave to their slaves. It's a pet name. You know, when it's a pet name means that the master named you, okay? So they don't mind us calling ourselves the N-word because all we doing is justifying that they just carried on the pet name that we gave them. But they're going to punish the European man for saying it and everything because we don't want him saying it and everything because it's a name that we have slowly given over to Negroes, blacks, and African Americans. And as a descendant of American slave man, husband, father is wrong. I don't say it in my household. My children don't say it. It's wrong because it dishonored the first generations of slaves that was all they heard is them themselves being degraded by that terminology.
A lot of people will tell you, though, they're taking the stigma, the sting out of the word by using it commonly among people of color. They're saying white people, that's radioactive to you, but people of color should be allowed to say it to destigmatize it.
That's ignorant conversation, okay? It's a story that I can share with you that I had a doctor that I work with. Came from night shift. I started working day shift. My first time ever working with him and everything, he's playing music. Well, first of all, prefacing, we had issues. He knew that I was a strong conservative and he was a strong liberal, okay? So we had a blowout about a year during 2016 and everything. So I'm working with him in that case. He, for whatever reason, he goes change the music. And he changed the music where it's saying N and B and bloop, blop, 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 and all that. So I says to him, I said, excuse me, sir, maybe you think because of the color of my skin that I embrace that terminology and I used to those slang words and everything. But, brother, I'm not into that rap music like that. It's degrading. My children don't say it. You know what he said to me? This just shows you that I was taken back. He says to me, well, you know, the friends and people that I hang out with says that word is a popular word, is a word that could be integrating and they're not offensive about it. They actually says is the person who's listening is the person that needs to check themselves if they don't understand. I looked at him and I said, excuse me, I'm 57 years old, Slick, okay? The people that you hanging out with, they're young and ignorant, okay? And they don't have a clue. I came around an era when that word is wrong. And so I addressed him. Okay, the hospital command, he got written up. I wrote him up. The people who allowed that to happen before I actually started working there doing day shift, they came to me. They were afraid to say anything because he's bringing so much money to the hospital and he's doing it. So the liberal environment I allowed it to happen because I stood up and said something and everything. It looked like I was going to get in trouble, but what came out of it that it was addressed, and they stopped playing that music using that terminology. 6 months later, I was back in his room, and he tried to make fun of me and everything in front of everybody because, I'm the only one in the operating room, look like me, all right? And he says, excuse me, I don't want to play this music because I don't want to offend MeShorn. And I said to him, hey, well done. I appreciate you considering me because, see, it's offensive to use that terminology. And the fact that you're considering that, you'll learn something here today.
So why do you think that John Schnatter is being mistreated when you're showing your own disdain for that word?
Well, he's being mistreated, and if you don't mind me saying, it's a liberal agenda, okay? I'm just going to keep it 100. If he was a conservative, if he was a liberal that said it in the meeting, if he was among all his liberal friends and everything, they had said it, it would not have been nothing said.
We're going to take a time out. Senator Wendell Ford, the late Senator Wendell Ford, said that very word on this radio station years ago and was not pilloried for it because
Richard Pryor said it in a on a talk show.
Richard Pryor is a descendant of American slaves, or a black person. I don't know if he's a descendant of American slaves. Anyway, we got to take a break. Back in a moment. I have to continue my conversation at the moment here with MeShorn Daniels from Descendants of American Slaves. Do not call him an African American. Do not call him a black man. He is a descendant of American slaves. And you came in because you wanted to, you said you think John Schnatter's, the response is just overblown.
Yeah, it's over. And I'm not here to justify that, the use of the word. I want to make sure.
Right.
I'm not here to justify the use of the word. What I am here to say is that a 18 and older man CEO in the company of a conference meeting among his individuals and everything, it appears to me that he was having a conversation in training about the terminology and everything, and he used it in contents concerning Colonel Sanders, which I'm sure, that terminology was used. Why is it being blown all out of proportion? Okay?
Let me interject this. I'm going to talk to Colonel Sanders' grandson a little after 5 today. He's checking in with me from Miami, and he says that his grandfather, Colonel Harlan Sanders, did not use the N-word. He lived with him for a long time and said he's interacted with him over so many years. Obviously, the colonel's been dead for 30-plus years, but he's going to state a case for that. Nonetheless, Schnatter's using that word instead of saying the N-word is what the root of his problem.
In the backdraft of this, and why is it so, Terry, let's keep it 100, man. I walked in my neighborhood and everything, down the street this weekend, and before I can reach to the corner of my street, I done heard it 5 times, okay, just walking down the street in my neighborhood, okay? So, we hear it in music. We hear it everywhere and everything. My question is, why is it that the European cultures seem to be okay that we and our demographics of people, it's okay that we embrace the word and call ourselves all day long the N-word and everything. No foul, no cry and everything. It's okay for that. And that's partly on our fault. I'm not saying that you all should actually try to tell us to stop us from using the word. That's actually our fault and everything. But I find it very ironic, that the liberal media and everything, and I got to go to liberal, will persecute this man for using the word when they know for a fact that the media, entertainment, rap music and everything is using the word like it's water and everything, but we're going to persecute this businessman, and that's my problem with the mayor, okay? I'm sure the mayor had probably been in company and probably used the word himself. I consider it, I'm just going to keep it 100.
Okay, well, that's 100 for you, but I don't know.
I'm just saying, I'm willing to be a man and stand up for what I come out of my mouth. I think the mayor should have at least stood by this man, this business person who has done so much for this country, for this city here, and just automatically, quickly throw him under the bus. See, we call that in the military, I'm a retired sergeant first class, to say someone who only seek popularity, you got to be fearful of, because popularity is not good leadership. Anyone that allows ignorance, to be run is not good leadership. Emotionalism, anyone that allows emotionalism to drive their support and everything is not good. And immaturity, people who operate in the sense of immaturity, we call those all 4 words deadly in the military. that we who are non-commissioned officers always have to guard ourselves when we see that. And I think that this mayor, okay, I want a leader who's willing to stand up and call it like it needs to be called, even when it's uncomfortable, but do the right thing. But don't go for popularity. Don't go for, I don't want to offend nobody and everything. It was wrong for this man to be coming under this much persecution for a word that's being used. It's an American word. It's a word that was started from our culture and things that was done in this country. It's wrong. That's all I want to say. It's wrong.
Before we run out of time, I know you want to talk about the Descendants of American Slaves Slave Identification Reclassification Act. What's the premise?
The premise is that we've sat down with some state representatives, and we're saying just like the N-word, color needs to be removed off of state and federal documents all across the board.
So you don't check the box that says African American. You don't want that on there.
I don't want that box. But first of all, I've never been to Africa, so African American don't even acknowledge me. It doesn't. So who am I? Black is a terminology, is a color. Negro is a Spanish word for color. So who am I? I am a descendant of American slaves, okay? So, and who are you? Who are Americans? Americans who formed this country was Americans. I'm okay with you saying American. I'm just saying that we want to say take color off the table. Let's make this thing equal. Now, it needs to be legislated, okay? Mm-hmm. Legislated to take color off the table. And then how you like me now. We're all Americans in this box together.
Well, how's Al Sharpton going to make a living if you take that?
Oh, now see, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's a whole nother conversation, brother. That's a whole nother.
Where can people learn more about Descendants of American Slaves?
Well, where you can follow me, just follow MeShorn. MeShorn, MeShorn. You follow me, you spell my name correctly, you will find me on Facebook. And then I would direct you from there. God's Lives Matter. You can actually go there and follow that as well, because God's Lives Matter says humanity trumps color.
You use the word Trump, somebody's going to be mad about that. Great to see you again, MeShorn.
Hey, brother, as always, man, brother from another mother.
There
Love
you go,
man.
baby.